Hey y'all, welcome back to Pour Into Purpose with Counselor Stewart, Summer Growth Edition. I'm your host, Counselor Stewart, and today we're pouring into something that shapes every school community: leadership that waters growth. This episode is for every leader listening: teachers, administrators, counselors, coaches, department chairs, grade level leaders, support staff, and anyone who helps set the tone in a school building. And before some of y'all tune out because you don't have a title attached to your name, let me say this: leadership is not just a position, leadership is influence. Every person in a school building influences the climate in some way, sometimes with our words, sometimes with our energy, sometimes with our presence, and sometimes, if we're not careful, with our stress. Because leadership is contagious. But so is encouragement. So is kindness. So is calm. So is hope. So go ahead and settle in and let's jump right in. One of the biggest misconceptions about leadership is that leadership is about telling people what to do. It's not. Leadership is about creating environments where people can do their best work. Now, y'all know I love a good growth analogy. So let's think about a garden for a minute. You can have the best seeds, seeds full of promise, purpose, and potential. But even the strongest seed will struggle if it is planted in unhealthy soil. If the soil is dry, crowded, neglected, or full of weeds, that seed may have everything inside of it that it needs to grow, but it won't have the right conditions to thrive. And it's the same thing for our schools. Our students may come to us with gifts, strengths, dreams, and potential. Our educators and staff may come with talent, dedication, and a heart to serve. But if the environment is unhealthy, tense, disconnected, or overwhelming, growth becomes harder for everybody because the soil matters. The environment matters. And when we think about our schools, our building is the soil. It's the place where students, educators, counselors, staff, and families are all trying to grow. People grow differently when they feel safe. People contribute differently when they feel appreciated. People show up differently when they feel supported. From my experience, there are two different types of environments: the kind that drains you and the kind that pours into you. The kind where you're just trying to get through the day, and the kind where you feel encouraged enough to keep growing. More often than not, the difference is leadership. Not because leaders have all the answers or can fix everything overnight, but because leaders help shape the conditions. Leaders help determine whether the soil is healthy, whether people feel valued, and whether growth is possible. And over time, that tone becomes the culture. And when that tone begins to take root, it shapes the climate of the school. Now, we use a lot of words in education like culture, engagement, belonging, connection. And sometimes those words become buzzwords. We say them in meetings, we put them in plans, and we hear them in professional development. But school climate is not just something we say, it's something people feel. School climate is how people feel when they walk through the doors. Can people breathe in that space? Can people ask questions, make mistakes, and still feel supported? Can people be honest without fear? Because healthy schools aren't schools without problems. Healthy schools are schools where people feel safe enough and connected enough to work through problems together. And maybe this is the reminder we all need to hear. We're not trying to create a perfect school. Perfect schools don't exist, but healthy schools do. Connected schools do. Purpose-filled schools do. And that's what we're trying to build. Not perfect soil, healthy soil. So the people inside the building have room to breathe, room to belong, and room to grow. Fellow leaders, lean in for a minute. I want you to really hear me when I say this. Encouragement is not fluff. Encouragement is leadership. Sometimes we underestimate the power of a few simple words. I appreciate you. Thank you. I noticed what you did. You made a difference today. Those words may seem small, but they matter because people are carrying things we can't always see. Educators are carrying heavy loads. Families are carrying heavy loads. Students are carrying heavy loads. And encouragement reminds people that they are seen. Not because they need applause every day, but because everyone deserves to know that their efforts matter. Sometimes one encouraging conversation can change the direction of someone's day. Sometimes one thoughtful email can help someone breathe a little easier. And sometimes one encouraging leader can shift the whole atmosphere of a building. So never underestimate your words. People may not remember every meeting you led or every plan you created or every strategy you shared, but they will remember how you made them feel. Now, let's talk about emotional safety. We hear a lot about creating emotional safe environments for students, and we should. Our students need to feel safe enough to learn, ask questions, make mistakes, and grow. But somewhere along the way, we sometimes forget that emotional safety matters to adults too. Teachers need it, counselors need it, support staff need it, families need it, and leaders need it too. Because people can't grow well when they are always operating in survival mode. If adults come into the building guarded, overwhelmed, afraid to speak up, or scared to make a mistake, that stress eventually touches the whole environment. Whether we mean for it to or not, it trickles down to our students. So emotional safety is not just a nice idea, it's part of a healthy leadership. Can people ask for help without feeling weak? Can someone say, I don't know, without being embarrassed? Can someone bring a concern and trust that it will be received with care? That matters. Because the safest schools aren't schools where people never disagree. The safest schools are schools where people know that they can disagree respectfully and still work together. Where people can say, let's figure this out, instead of feeling like they have to protect themselves. Because leadership should reduce fear, not create it. I'm going to say that again. Leadership should reduce fear, not create it. And that's why everyday leadership matters so much. Leadership is not always found in big speeches and long meetings or perfectly written plans. Most of the time, leadership shows up in the small moments. A greeting, a check-in, a follow-up, a listening ear, a calm response, a kept promise, accountability with dignity. Those things may seem small, but they shape the soil. Sometimes leadership is simply being steady, and schools need steady people. Schools need adults who can stay grounded when the day gets busy, when emotions are high, when plans change, and when the work feels heavy. And let's be honest, education can be heavy, but leadership doesn't mean carrying the entire building on your shoulders. Leadership is helping everyone carry the work together. That is different. You don't have to carry everything by yourself. And the truth is, you were never supposed to. So, fellow leaders, here are a few questions for us to sit with. When people leave a conversation with me, do they feel lighter or heavier? Do I lead with curiosity before criticism? Do I notice people before I need something from them? And maybe the biggest question is this: what am I watering every day? Because whatever we consistently water grows. If we water fear, fear grows. If we water trust, trust grows. If we water blame, blame grows. If we water encouragement, confidence grows. If we water relationships, community grows. And if we water purpose, people grow. And maybe that's why this matters so much. Because when leaders create healthy spaces, people don't feel like they have to carry everything alone. That's the kind of leadership that waters growth. Not leadership that keeps asking people to pour out without ever pouring anything back in. Not leadership that expects people to bloom in dry places. But leadership that notices. Leadership that supports. Leadership that encourages. Leadership that helps people remember they matter. Because at the end of the day, schools are living, breathing communities. And when care is intentional, support is consistent, and people feel valued, growth becomes possible. Not perfect growth, healthy growth. The kind of growth that gives people room to breathe, room to belong, and room to grow. As we close today, I want you to remember this. You don't have to be the loudest person in the room to be a leader. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to be intentional. Leadership is not about being the sun that everything revolves around. Leadership is being the water that helps everything around you grow. So this week, ask yourself, what am I watering? Because somebody is growing in the environment we help create every single day. Thank y'all so much for spending this time with me today. If this episode encouraged you, share it with a teacher, administrator, counselor, coach, educational leader who may need this reminder. Be sure to follow Pour Into Purpose with Counselor Stewart. Leave a rating, leave a comment, and join me next time as we continue pouring into purpose together. Until next time, take care of yourself, protect your peace, and keep pouring into purpose.